We're back. We're back at it again. Another week, another time, another episode of the Houston Round Bar Review presents Folks Talking Sports. I'm Chris Gardner of the Houston Round Bar Review. As you see on the screen there, or when you listen later on iHeart, Apple, or Spotify, joining me is Andy Yanez from the Community Impact newspaper and Paul Samajema and James Mueller from Daily Cougar. James, you first. How are you today?
Doing well. How about yourself, Chris?
Doing great. Andy, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Let's get into it. Let's talk. I mean, it seems like how the slant of the show goes. It's not intentional, but that's how it works out. Let's discuss some UH news. Andy, James, I'm really honored and thrilled to know you guys, to know that I am on a show with two guys who have $10 million to contribute to the UH Athletics Football Fund. Thank you very much for doing that. So it's an honor to have you on the show. So thank you very much. And we're going to bring him in and let Will know as well. Mr. Gibson, did you realize that we were colleagues of two men who have a combined $10 million to spare to donate to University of Houston Athletics?
I wondered who that was, man, and now that confirms my thought. Yeah.
Well,
Majority of
James. Yeah, since James technically isn't an alumni yet, I guess, I just have to step in, after all Tillman Fertitta is done.
Yeah.
So everyone, we thank you and we salute you, we commend you, but it shows you how much pull James has, not even as an alum yet. He said, you know what? I'm going to graduate. I'm going to be an alum soon enough. I'm going to go ahead and drop this bag off anonymously to contribute to football, to show my support. So that's what he did. So James, thank you very much. But in all seriousness, an anonymous, what's a husband and wife, right? Isn't a couple married? Two people? I think. Isn't it right? Or we know that much?
I don't think they
specify. They just said an anonymous $10 million gift. They've touted about the gift. They thank you that they trust the university with that much money, and that's pretty much all I've heard.
Because I think I might be wrong. Go ahead, Will.
Is it all you heard, or is all you allowed them to release?
Well, that's what they released in the
that's what they released. But
no, Andy, is that all you allowed them to release?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. You gotta keep your name on the low.
Yeah.
Andy wanted to break it on Folks Talking Sports to,
Yeah. They kind of jumped the gun a little bit. We wanted to announce it here, but they just went ahead and did it. They got the money and said, hey, why not? Chris and Andy, James, they won't care. But but I want to say President Couture in the video clip that last I saw was unlisted on YouTube. I think she referenced it, and I could be wrong, that it was two people. Maybe I'm just putting that in there, But anyway, it's $10 million toward the 150 for Houston Rise, the campaign to first things first go toward the construction of the football specific development center. And I think you guys told me that this upcoming week or in the near future, some more donation announcements are forthcoming. Is that correct? May not be a 10 million, large 10 million, but I think more will be announced. James, have you heard that?
I've heard something similar. I haven't gotten a confirmed thing, but I've heard that there will be more donation stuff. That they'll reveal. I doubt it's higher than 10 mil, but we'll see. Maybe someone.
Yeah, I haven't heard too much along those lines, but I'd hope that they start releasing more information soon. And I really wish they had a updated tracker to see how much they've been able to fundraise over the course of, I guess it's getting close to a month now with the Houston Rise program. Like
a thermometer chart kind of thing, the track.
Yeah, yeah, that gets people motivated. I think the closer they see that number go up.
Another idea presented here from Folks Talking Sports. Just giving you all these ideas, this free consultation.
Now we know that they have at least 11 million with the 10 million that was donated and the 1 million that Dana Holgerson pledged at the beginning. So that's pretty much it. And their goal is 150.
150. So. And Will, feel free. We take contributions from outsiders. You don't have to be a Houston alum you have ties to the city of Houston, so you can feel free to, if you want to dip in $1 million here, $1 million there, feel free to just steer some of the Buckeye money, to us poor folks here at Houston, if you want to do that.
Let's develop a collective, right? Just saying.
Collectives, they are being put together with UH people involved. So, I don't know all the details about that, but it's being worked on. So I'm glad to say that, little slow, but hey, slow and steady sometimes is the best way to go. But I think, because isn't there another part of Mr. Giannis? You had an interview recently on Paul Slamajama with a guy. Let's talk about that with the brand. What is the name of the company? Brandr Group?
The Brandr Group. The Brandr Group. Yeah, and I got to interview, and I ended up butchering his last name. I believe it was Paul Poggi, and he's like kind of affiliated with the collegiate side of the company, and really kind of the deal that they've ended up doing with the University of Houston. And shameless plug, be sure to check out that interview at City Control Room YouTube channel, Paul Slamajama's latest episode. But he did say how really it's going to be a lot of licensing deals. So now partnering, and it's completely voluntary for the student athletes if they choose to opt in. It wouldn't hinder them from being able to enter into their own individual NIL deals or anything else that might end up coming forward on the horizon. But essentially, it's going to be a good opportunity where they have a whole bunch of partnerships with a lot of different companies that are in, like, when it comes to actual team jerseys, with obviously the Houston Cougars logo in the front. In the back, you have the actual athletes' names, which James, I know you can tout this from just the campus bookstores across campus. There's at least when I was there was always those jerseys where it's like, generic. They have a 34 men's basketball jersey, but it's just 34 in the back. It's empty. Now you would start seeing a lot of, athletes' actual names, and it's not just, for football. It's not just for men's basketball. It's supposed to be for across the entire athletics department. And I believe he said if a certain company wants to work with a specific team, like say they want to, partner with the football team, they have to choose a specific amount of players from the team so they can actually go ahead and do the deal. And it's just a way for the athletes to be able to profit off their name with such like cool licensing deals, more or less.
Well, you might get a kick out of this. The partnership arrangement that Houston has with Brandr is similar to what North Carolina and Bubba Cunningham created. They were one of the first people to
the Brandr Group.
To do
it's
that,
actually affiliated with, or that's where they got their roots from. That program. He hinted at it, so very similar.
So yeah, well, see, you love the Tar Heels. I hate the Tar Heels, but see, I can give credit where it's due. So I just wanted to acknowledge that, here on the air publicly, that I am giving your fandom some appreciation. Okay.
Tar Heel basketball, just to clarify for my Buckeye people. Tar Heel basketball.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, I don't want to get you in trouble with Buckeye Nation up there. So
thank you.
Will, how many days till the first football game for the Buckeyes?
September 3rd.
What's the
home
countdown?
opener against Notre Dame. Against Notre Dame. Let's see. I'm focused on Big Ten Media Days this week, so I wasn't focused on the calendar.
41 days.
I think it's 6 weeks, yeah, because I saw
41 days. Exactly the same as UH.
Yep.
41 so days. Which Twitter account has posted that? Andy, has UH posted that countdown?
No, I have the date memorized because we're doing our own countdown. But let me check before I say. They have not.
They haven't. Because was it last week, guys?
It was last.
It seemed like UH football, the football Twitter account, right?
Yeah.
They launched the 50-day countdown on Twitter.
The official UH account.
Excuse me. Okay, there we go. The official UH
50
account.
days. That was the last one they did. 50 days at the 50-day mark.
But that was days after folks Talkin Sports suggested doing a countdown. So James and Andy believe that somebody over there is watching the show and, taking some suggestions or things of that sort from FTS and putting them into practice. So You're welcome.
So did he say it was a 50-day countdown, but nothing updated since? Is that right? Did I hear that right?
That's the last, at the very least, that's the last time the UH football Twitter account retweeted them. But let me make sure and go into
because they have gotten better.
Yeah,
but you got to start somewhere. Will I'll just put it like that. So it's
yep,
small
they
step forward.
haven't posted an update since. So 50 days, and like I said, we're at 41.
because a lot of the big time programs around the country have been doing 10 Saturdays till.
Yep, we have. Ohio State's been doing that. Yeah,
9, whatever, and it's every Saturday. I guess 50 makes sense, but it's kind of odd just to. Are you going to go 50 and then 25? I like the Saturdays thing better.
It just, do it with the countdown of the jersey number of a current player. If you have, like a 49 or 48 or 45 or, that kind of thing. I'm looking at the UH Athletics Twitter account from 2 days ago, guys, gentlemen. And they have a tweet tagging the UH women's basketball account to renew or purchase season tickets. Huh. Exactly. Didn't know about that. Huh. Okay, but yeah, so let's talk about.
Ooh, and that sounds like that's a pretty good deal that they have. If you renew your season tickets, you get entered into a draw to possibly get an exclusive tour of the Guy Lewis Development Center and get some other type of merch as well. Even getting a pregame sideline experience. So hey, that's actually pretty cool.
So I'm going to ask you two guys. You two, did y'all get an email about that?
I don't. Maybe I.
No, I'm pretty sure I haven't.
Let me check.
Did you hear that, Mr. Gibson?
I did hear that.
UH women's basketball has a drawing with some pretty good prizes if you renew or purchase season tickets. Yet there has not been a press release, apparently, sent.
What day was that announced?
Twitter 2 days ago. So Friday?
So Friday. No, yeah, I don't see any email in mine, and I typically get all the women's basketball updates. They don't do it as much as other sports, but I get all the random ones, and I'll send them to you sometimes, Chris. So yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, same. I haven't received anything.
Mr. Gibson, what are your thoughts on that as someone from the Ohio State University and the lack of acknowledgement? Go ahead.
Of a contest?
Just something, a drawing, involving one of your programs, your athletic programs.
Honestly, that's for media. I don't know that the media would really be concerned with that. Honestly, here, yeah, that's like you said, for the fans that renew their season tickets. Yeah, that's cool. But as far as a press release, would I be offended or upset by that? No.
That's a fair point. But you guys have fans come to your women's sporting events.
I was going to ask, was it just renew? Because if it's just renew, what? Maybe 200 season ticket holders?
Oh well, that might be high, 200. Who knows? But it's on the UH Athletics.
Now they did have a press release June 20th when they announced the ticket renewals will be available that Monday, ahead of June 20th, and it's just a very basic 2-graph press release where they say that renewal, the option to be able to renew season tickets goes live that following Monday. And then they do mention it in the second graph. Tickets purchased will eligible for that was probably a typo. Will be eligible for prizes to be announced next month, and that was June 20th. That was so they did have a news release on it. It was just very it was kind of shooned in there, and then that's it.
I'm going to put this up there for one of our audience members. UH is going to start sending out tweets saying, quote, 12 months until we are in a real conference and start caring, end quote.
They're already late on
that. That's true because we're almost 11 months away from the July 1st, 2023. Follow-up from D-Skills H-Town. with another comment. Thank you for tuning in on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. He just doesn't think they pay marketing people enough to care enough to do things. Well, an argument from me on that. I won't get anybody to go on the record about the lack of pay, staffing, and the issues over there in marketing and in the sports info department. But yeah, we've seen it firsthand, and some of the issues we heard about, some of the horror stories of working. I mean, it's really sports information for a lot of programs across the country that aren't big time athletic programs, well-funded programs, long hours and little pay. Mm-hmm. So, issues and programs on UH level, and it's worse going down to Southland Conference schools, SWAC schools. It's just, you may have one person covering 5 teams, for university. So they're doing work with 5 different people and getting paid half a person's salary, that kind of issue. So it's a problem. Sports information has, the importance of it and the pay has diminished from going back when I first started doing this stuff 30 years ago. So what are you going to say? Well, I got something to get off your chest.
It was just, I guess it's a couple things. The law of the lid. I mean, the leadership in that area, because again, I only know where I am, and this is Ohio State. The SID department, the program is, I mean, these kids are go-getters. They want it because they know, one, they're covering the Big Ten, they're covering a national program, but it's where they take them. Prime example, a guy, I can call him a friend. I don't think I'm on the turn calling him a friend. Pat Chun. Pat Chun was worked in the SID department when I was in school. We were in school together. Pat started out as an intern as he was going to school, worked his way up, got a paid position once he graduated. Long story short, Pat Chun is now the athletic director at Washington State. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the pay, okay. I mean, I remember vividly in J school when I was at Ohio State. Professor Strutt told us, like, look, your first job, you're going to be on food stamps. You're going to be $9,000 a year. You're going to make food stamps. So are you going to take that comment and take it to heart and say, well, I don't want to do this now? Or are you going to say, you know what? This is what I want to do. I got to grind to get where I want to be. Yeah, it's a start, but where do I want to end? So I don't know. That's just me personally. Yeah, but it's still a means to an end.
So you have the old school mentality.
Yeah.
And I respect that because I can relate to it. But in UH's case, David Bassity, is David still with the Falcons?
I think so.
So he worked at UH, head of sports information, and now working with the Falcons as head of media. So is that 10 years or less? So it hasn't been that long, but it's been a while. But it could be generational, that young people now don't want a job of $10,000 or less as their first job out of college, and they expect more pay to do sports information. Hey, that could be, could be. 1997, 98, when I was at UH covering the sport, I was there 12, 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes, riots or whatever it was, to do those kind of things. But it's tough nowadays to get that. So it could be a generational thing. I'm not going to put these guys on the spot for that. I don't know if James wants to be in sports information once he leaves UH, or if he has higher aspirations, or if he wants to work for the Chronicle or the Athletic, or whatever the case may be. But it is noticeable, and I'm not sure that UH has hired someone yet for the sports information department job for women's basketball. I think track and field was part of the teams for that new position, because that position is not open. The former SID for women's hoops is now the second assistant for football. So they're trying to staff more folks for football, but now they got a field position for women's basketball. in sports information. So we shall see how that all plays out.
That right there. You said they're looking for someone to work sports information for track, right?
Track and women's basketball, yes.
That right there. I'm just gonna focus on track. The opportunity to work with 9-time Olympic gold medalist Carl Lewis. To put that on my resume, I was the sports information person for 9-time Olympic gold medalist Carl Lewis.
But Will, we know Carl Lewis. How many folks James and Andy's age know Carl Lewis?
Fair enough.
So that could be, generational again. I mean, we're of the same generation, so maybe that's that part of it. Who knows? I don't know.
You're making me sound like get off my lawn guy, and I'm trying not to be him.
Well,
really am.
I don't want to put those words in your mouth. I am that guy. I am the get off, my lawn guy. That's why I'm thankful that Andy and James, the youngsters, keep me in line and do more things with technology, going forward, do stuff that I didn't even think about doing, didn't know was possible with some technology. And we're going to see one of those examples in a few minutes with a commercial that Mr. Yanez created and put together in like no time. So, but we'll see. All right, let's see. Big Ten Media Day. Mr. Gibson, that's this week coming up?
Tuesday, Wednesday.
So it's a 2-day event. Okay, so
it is.
Same number of days as Big 12 Media Day, half the number of days as the SEC Football Media Day, twice as much as the American. And it's going to be in person, correct, Will?
Yep, Indianapolis.
In person. And the Americans are still going to be virtual, but we digress because after this one, we won't have to care because UH will be in the Big 12, hopefully. But Will, are you going to be there, be able to attend?
No, I won't be in person this year. I have some other things here in town I need to attend, but I will be tuning in virtually. Ryan Day speaks Wednesday at 12:30.
And we haven't had a chance to talk to you since y'all post UCLA and USC from the Pac-12, to get more specifics on it.
Hey, so, they rung our line. Don't hate us. They rang our line. I'm just saying.
So Andy, James, Will, y'all have any rumors to discuss? Let me get your take on this, Will. And get your thought on it. In your opinion, does a merger of the Big 12 and Pac-12 make sense to you?
It does, without question. Easily makes perfect sense.
For who?
For Colorado, for Washington State, the aforementioned Washington State, because what happens to those schools? Colorado joined the Pac-12 specifically for the connection to Los Angeles. Out west, they were in the Big 12. They didn't see a fit. Nebraska left to come to the Big 10, but they didn't see a fit in the Big 12 anymore. So they went to the Pac-12 specifically for the LA market. And now that's gone. So what happens to Colorado? What happens to Washington State? Oregon State?
James, you care to retort?
I don't think it makes sense for most of the current Big 12 schools because their pay cut's going to go down if you add all of them. If you look at the numbers, I think it makes sense to add 2 to 4. But I get your point, and I agree with some of these smaller schools. Joining the Big 12 would be advantageous for them, but for the conference overall, and especially for schools that have been in there for a while, I don't think they want to have this merger because then their piece of the pie is going to be shrunk down a little bit.
And see, Will, that was our logic behind it. If there's a full-on merger, say you got 20 teams, not 22, so we're going to exclude Oregon State and Washington State. So 20, let's cap it at 20. Mm-hmm. In order to maintain the ideal scenario, the $42 million cut that each Big 12 school currently is getting, that's $840 million per year. Mm-hmm. Well, who's going to pay that? It's not going to be ESPN. It's not going to be Fox. Who's going to pay $840 million for the Biggie Pac conference.
The Peacock.
Not the Biggie Pac. Wow.
I like that. The Biggie Pac.
I do too. It's a couple of things I wanted to say. Yeah, I'll leave that there. Yeah. But okay, so I would retort with this. Okay, you have a piece of a pie now. Are you willing to say, out of spite, if I can't have the whole piece of pie, I don't want anything? Because that's what's about to happen. That's what's about to happen.
Yeah. No, I would say that that's a great point. I think if going back to that merger talk with the Pac-12 and the Big 12, I think, and this has been the debate, I think the Pac-12 is the conference that'll benefit tremendously from it, because something that I got brought up that I saw online is a great point, and it's going to be a 2024 problem. You know, I'd be curious to see what these TV negotiations look like for the current Pac-10 minus UCLA, USC, because when those schools head for the Big 10, they're going to be competing against UCLA and USC when it comes to the 9:30 p.m. kickoff slot. And I mean, no offense to, well, I guess Oregon's that brand, but you look at some of the other schools, Cal, Stanford, they can't compete with, the UCLA and USC's when it comes to head-to-head. And I think that they're the ones that are going to benefit tremendously, much more than the Big 12. And I'm curious to see what those deals actually look like for them now that they've entered officially into the TV negotiation aspects of it.
I would say this, and you kind of mentioned it. To all those in the Pac-12 that are thumbing their nose, or I'm sorry, in the Big 12 that are thumbing their nose at the remaining Pac-12 teams, does anyone know the most famous, I would call it the most famous, alum of the University of Oregon?
Most famous or the wealthiest?
Okay, let's say the wealthiest.
Yeah, Mr. Knight.
Mr. Knight.
Yep.
Oregon. Knight. Mr. Knight of Nike. So for all those in the Big 12 that say, we don't know if we want, Phil Knight is bringing Nike money. So that $42 million that you're concerned about, Phil Knight has that in the console of his Maybach or the Ghost.
See that is
Oregon makes sense.
What I toss out there is if Phil Knight goes to commissioner, officially starting on August 1st,
7 days.
He'll commish Brett Yormark, and if he says, I will make up the balance, make up the difference, for, he's not made of money. He's going to end at some point, for 5 years, whatever it is.
He might be.
Whatever. Just,
I know.
Because I don't believe any of these current schools want to be stuck with, like the ACC, with some long ass deal. So, 6 years tops, 5 to 6 years tops with this new media rights deal. If Phil Knight says, yeah, Brett Yormark, me and my people, we're going to put it together a package. It's not going to be Big 10, SEC 100 million, but it's going to be 75 million per school. Hell yeah, we do that. Okay. But is Phil Knight going to do that? That's where I'm saying it doesn't seem likely. He's still holding out hope for getting a Big 10 invite, which, seems like it's going to go to Stanford and Notre Dame in that scenario. So that's not going to happen. But my biggest issue with a complete full-on merger of the two conferences is the payout. If they got NBC, CBS, and a total TV package, media rights package, Apple, Amazon, whatever, and the money combined, ideally, is $50 million per school. So that's $1 billion if you're going 20 for a full Biggie Pac conference. Okay, but less than if any of the negotiations and they're talking about, 20 schools, we can only give you $30 million per school. No, thank you. That doesn't make sense. Now, if the Big 12 says, Brett Yormark and the people say, okay, NBC, ESPN, and CBS combined will give us $50 million if we add Utah and Arizona and not anybody else, then that's what they got to do. That's my logic going in, because it's survival of the fittest. one issue I think we all agree on that at some point in the future, there's going to be another conference of 20 schools. So why not just be proactive and get to 20 right now? But no school, especially the current Big 12, you want to take how much of a pay cut to add Cal? What are they doing? Why would we want to do that? So no, that's what my issue is for my logic on that. Does that make sense, sir?
I feel you. That makes sense. But let me circle back to something you just said. Stanford and Notre Dame. Don't hold your breath on that Notre Dame to the Big 12.
Oh no,
to Big
no,
10.
No.
I know. But there's reasons behind that. Again, you gotta be sounding like the old guy tonight. But go back to 1993. Yeah. Oh, 1993. Okay. There was a deal to expand the Big Ten to 12 teams. Penn State, who joined in 1993, the second team at the 12th hour. When I say the 12th hour, I mean the 12th hour. The 12th hour, 59th minute, 59th second, 99 hundredths of a second. The 12th hour.
It was real close, huh?
Real close. They backed out. So for years, the Big Ten had to catch the joke. The Big 11, they're the Big 11. Now they're the Big 14, soon to be the Big 16, but I digress. They were the Big 11. That 12th team was Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to get a second bite of the apple. Now, and on top of that, for all the prestige and all of the talk of the quality education, I'm sure there's a quality education at the University of Notre Dame. I'm sure there is. But for the pomp and circumstance that Notre Dame is this elite academic institution, and it is, the Big Ten has 14, soon to be 16 schools. 15 of the 16 schools are AAU schools, Association of American Universities. Nebraska is the only one that's not. Notre Dame is not a AAU school.
Right.
It's not an association of athletic universities. That's big. So people that want to look at the football, if they're not an AAU school, and it's just the irony is funny to me that they're this elite academic institution, but they're not an AAU school. That's going to carry a lot of weight in the Big Ten with the presidents and the chancellors. So on top of them standing up the Big Ten in '93, don't count on that.
And I go back to it, and it's, when I'm done with this, Andy, once you play your commercial clip, but I go back to it. I said it in a previous show. President Couture of Houston, one of her ultimate goals is for UH to become a member of the AAU. And it's been a while since she said it, 5-10 years ago, but she said that she would love for UH to be a member of the Big Ten. They become an AAU school, AAU member. Well,
hey,
we could be doing, it may take 5-10 years, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's one of her goals. It's not just, that's not because of the Big Ten.
Sure.
Because of the prestige, the academic prestige that goes along with it and membership.
Mm-hmm.
James, wherever he's working 5-10 years from now, Andy, wherever he's working, me pushing 60, could be going to a Big 12 football media day with UH as a member. Okay, if that happens. I'm putting it out there. That's well into the future. But if that does happen, just remember what Mr. Gibson said and what I said about Houston, University of Houston, as in becoming an AAU school. Okay, Ms. Yanez, if you don't mind, sir, for the folks who have not seen it, and I think Mr. Gibson may be one of those as well, show your commercial, sir. Put it on the screen.
You're watching Folks Talkin Sports. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural Let's Rage Cougs, and let's see how this goes. Literally our program in a nutshell, just being relentless, not giving up. Culture!
Joining us on the show, Chris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Joining us from the stream, Sean, welcome to the show. Can you?
What's good, y'all?
Hey, dog, say what's good to the folks, man.
So,
Hey, that you would set up a perfect pass for them.
Just one of those nights, man. Reggie was great.
His video on Talkin Sports. The only thing I'll tell you is be good again. So it was a good run. We will be back football season. We thank you all that joined us. And
I can't wait for the more polished version. Appreciate it.
And he's got a second one coming out next week.
August 1st.
Yep.
August 1st, every 2 weeks. But yeah, that's the Let's Rage Cougs post-game show. So if you haven't done so already, be sure. That's why I said I have it memorized. 41 days until the return of Let's Rage Cougs immediately following the University of Houston taking on UTSA in San Antonio.
Mr. Gibson, youngsters, we're in good hands, man. Youngsters and technology, we're going to be okay.
Without question.
Kudos to Andy for putting that together. And James, how close are you to the fall package for students from the Daily Cougar?
We spent all day in the office yesterday, so we sent it in last night at like 6 something. So it will be going out pretty soon. Most of the articles have now been published online in the past week. So yeah.
And that's the one where the freshmen get them in the mail, correct?
Yeah, they it's called the First Roar. They mail it out to. I don't know if they mail it out to every freshman, but I think like most of them, if not all. Yeah.
Is that new? Because I'm going back to my.
It's been around since I've been there.
Yeah.
I don't remember getting anything in the mail from the Daily Cougar.
So,
will it get
at the very least 2019, because I didn't get nothing whenever I was a freshman, but I think 2019 is when they started it, because it was a thing when I was there.
Okay, just hey, see another old man get off my lawn, moment right there. I'm like, I don't remember that, eons ago when I was 18 years old and going to the University of Houston. But
it's cool because I remember the one we did. It's like a full magazine, and I'm gonna dig it up and see if I can find the one we did when I was there. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good quality. It's like a brand magazine, like you said. People are getting them in the mail directly. It's like your big first intro to the University of Houston. So it's a pretty cool concept.
Very good, very good. Salute to both of you. Gonna go back to Mr. Gibson. Mm-hmm. Any updates on your Cleveland Browns starting quarterback?
Reported to camp Friday.
Did he?
Yeah. Quarterbacks, rookies, and veterans recovering from injury reported to camp on Friday. Rest of the team reports on Tuesday. First full training camp practice is Wednesday.
And when will be the first media session?
I believe it's Thursday. I had that up as well. I believe it's Thursday.
Because I think the Texans, the timeline, maybe toward the end of this coming week, is about that timeline. And A.D. Moore will be covering the Texans for his show, the Ad Max Corner. You can catch that as part of the Houston Roundball Review as well. Got a playlist for him on this channel also. So we're doing football as well. I'd love to get somebody to discuss some boxing going forward. I'm waiting for the Terrence Crawford Spence fight to get finalized before we go into that, and maybe that's going to happen in November. But that's down the line. Errol Spence.
Select players and Coach Kevin Stefanski is actually Wednesday.
And you don't believe that any of those select players will be DeShaun Watson, huh?
Without question, no. Without question, no.
Well, I guess, we're still kind of where we were. When did we discuss it? Like a month ago, where the rumors are all over the place in circulation. The last time I saw it said that they were bracing for 8 games.
Yeah, no one knows. Let me see. You see this? Can you see it?
Yeah.
I just threw it against the wall, see if it stuck. No one knows. No one knows. I mean, we're at the point where I use this Friday, Chris, with AJ. We're waiting for the white smoke to emanate from the roof.
Yep.
That's where we are right now. Judge Sue L. Robinson. People up here affectionately call her Sue L. She's still reviewing, and she's on her timeline. She's not concerned with training camp starting. She's not concerned with the season. She's going to make her decision when she makes her decision. I thought it still could be another Friday, but the infamous Friday 4:30 media dump that they get it out, but that came and went. That didn't happen this Friday. Could it happen next Friday? Possibly, but no one knows. No one knows.
Andy, I think it was you who shared both the news to me today for both players. First, Marcus Sasser is going to be part of something pretty special.
Pretty good. That's pretty awesome.
So just add to it. Talk about what you just saw earlier today about involving Marcus Sasser and Mr. Gibson, Dame Lillard.
No.
Yeah. So I believe it was today that they announced that Marcus Sasser is going to be part of. It's kind of a camp, but they don't want to call it a camp. It's called Formula Zero. So it's essentially a program where it's invite only, and it's going to be 40 individuals. It's going to be 20 high school students, 20 college players. And like Chris said, Damian Lillard's really going to be like the one overseeing everything. I'm just being able to see the video they put out and kind of like the build that they've had for that. They're focusing on not just basketball, but they're focusing on a whole bunch of things from leadership standpoints and just overall really helping those 40 individuals like grow. Obviously, of course, on the basketball court, but in a whole bunch of different aspects. And it seems like a pretty cool opportunity because in the video, like Damian Lillard talked about, a lot of the people that kind of helped him when he first joined the NBA are going to be a part of that. And they're just trying to help, those selected individuals grow overall as players, but overall as people. So,
yeah, but it's basically an opportunity of Dame paying it forward to help people as folks helped him. And Marcus Sasser is one of the 20 college players and 20 high school players to be part of this. It's about a 4-day thing, I think, something like that, roughly.
Yeah, August 3 through 7th. So 5 days.
5 days. So, it's a great opportunity for everybody to learn to be better on the court and off the court. So congratulations to Marcus for that. And good luck to him. And we're going to talk UH because I got things running into my head here. The guys, I think, it may have some women also there at the Field of 68. It's old. It's old news. It's new news to me, but it's old. They put out probably the start of this month a buy or sell as Houston Cougars men's basketball team as a national title contender. And the 3-man panel, one specifically, basically was like, hell yeah, they're a legit national contender this season. James, Andy, you guys first. Just reflect on that. The fact that in going into his 9th season, Kelvin Sampson and staff have got the Houston Cougars men's basketball program to a national level of relevance to now they are considered a legit contender for a national championship.
Yeah, it just goes to show what we've talked about really probably since we launched Folks Talkin Sports, certainly within the past few months, where even looking at what the University of Houston has been able to do, consistency, that's the most important thing, where going back to 2019, they make it to the Sweet 16, they give Kentucky all they could handle, and were they were right there with them at the very end. And obviously the COVID years shuts down the 2020 tournament, but then they follow that up with the Final Four run in 2021, and last year in the Elite Eight, as bad offensively of a performance that they put up there, they were right there with Villanova at the very end. And really, going back, you gotta mention the word that they always mention. That's culture. The culture that the Houston program has been able to establish, where year in and year out, it's been that consistency. And now, like we've touched on, now they're starting to get those 4-star, in the case of Jarris Walker, the 5-star players that they haven't been able to. They haven't had the last couple of seasons, and they've had that success. So now they're entering a new level where they have those high quality players coming right out of high school, in terms of the ranking standpoint. So now there's going to be a lot of expectations where, hey, you guys have been able to do this in the past, so now they're on the national radar, and it just goes to show of what Sampson has been able to establish.
James, how long have you been a UA student?
And this will be my 4th year.
Your first year.
James is entering his senior season.
Your freshman year at Houston.
Chris, you're oh, never mind. I think that might be my audio.
Your
Go
freshman
ahead.
year at Houston. What was the success of the men's basketball team?
First, second round, first, second weekend of NCAA tournament. Not much. Everyone thought, they'd make it as a middle type seed. Then, maybe win a game or two in the tournament and then get knocked out. There wasn't any serious talks about, this team can go all the way.
So just your thoughts on your time as a freshman at UH to now, the transformation, the evolution of expectations involving men's basketball at UH.
Yeah, I'll go back to what Kelvin Sampson's talked about. He's talked about how hard it is to sustain excellence in a program. He's mentioned, how teams can make their runs one year and then don't even make the tournament the next year, things like that. And so we've seen, obviously, each year, the story always, or the main doubt comes from, they lost 3-4 starters. Where are they going to get these points from? Their best defensive player, their best guy on the boards, whatever. And every year, they've seemed to answer that question. And so now, I think, just having done what they've done just since I've been there, so the past 3 seasons, and then obviously returning a star caliber player like Marcus Sasser, and then having one of the highest rated recruits in program history in Jarris Walker come in, I think people are starting to believe, now this isn't a fluke. Kelvin Sampson knows what he's doing. They just reload and reload after every year. And so now they're trying finally, especially with the Final Four being in Houston, I think that also plays a role in some of the, respect they're getting. But I think people are starting to realize it and take the program a lot more seriously than even just, like you said, when I first stepped on campus as a freshman.
Mr. Gibson, UH and Ohio State played in the NCAA tournament a few years ago.
Yep.
What was the thought of UH at that point, going into that matchup with the Buckeyes?
The Buckeyes, if they paid attention, they should have easily advanced. But if they didn't, they fell asleep at the wheel. Houston could get them, and they did. That's what happened.
So that thought process then has changed to now. There are people in national publications, national outlets, who consider Houston's Marcus Sasser as an All-American, Marcus Sasser as one of the best, if not the best, lead guard, scoring guards in college basketball. This just blows me away, because I remember the James Dickey days, okay? The days when Clyde Drexler spent more time golfing than being head coach. The Ray McCallum days as head coach. I mean, we're talking literal dark days of Hofheims because of the dim lighting, hardly anybody in the building to look at bad basketball. To now covering a team that is a legit contender for a national championship. That blows me away. This takes me back to when I was 11 years old and Phi Slamma Jamma was running through people all over college basketball that's kicking butt. That is 39 years ago, gentlemen. Okay. So I don't know what to do with this newfound expectation for the program.
Yeah, being heavy favorites going into the season. I mean, ESPN had them. Joe Lunardi had them as one of his number one seeds, and he said that he wouldn't be surprised if they end up winning the national championship.
And last year, I think in the Elite Eight, weren't they the betting odds favorites? I know it didn't work out, but even to think of them even getting to that level where Vegas is saying,
and that shocked me.
I think really what turned it around, because heading into the tournament, there was a lot of people that were picking them as upset picks in the first round, and then they had to play Illinois in the second, and then when they beat Arizona, and not only the way they beat Arizona, but to be being able to pull away late and play their style game, I think that's really what got people's attention, and from that point, from that game, they've kind of been cast in a different light.
And I'm curious to how long it will take Coach Kelvin Sampson, to squash this national contender talk. Because I'm sure it won't be me, but I'm sure there's going to be a colleague in town. Coach, what are your thoughts on being ranked number one preseason? Or Coach, what are your thoughts about being ranked number 3 in preseason? And Coach Kelvin would be like, he won't use profanity, but he'll come close to it. You're like, that's preseason. That's for you guys. I don't care about that. We have work to do. My goal is to get this team better in December than November, better in January than December, better in February than January, and playing our best basketball come tournament time. He's going to say that. You guys know that. He's going to say that. Mm-hmm. But I'm just waiting for some colleague. Kelvin, what are your thoughts about being ranked number 1 preseason? I mean, who the hell cares? But it's going to be asked. But more Cougar news. Fabian White, I don't know if he signed it, but agreed to an Exhibit 10 contract with the Lakers. So he's, at minimum, will be going to training camp for the Lakers, get a chance to learn from LeBron and AD and
stop, and that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
He's already been coached by Russell Westbrook.
But that picture that I've seen, Russ was talking, imploring the guy sitting down in front of him. Fabe was kind of like looking around, whatever this man's saying, that kind of expression on his face, like, whatever, dude. That's the photo. That's my take on it. Like, yeah, whatever, Russ, whatever, But stop it right there. Learn from LeBron and AD, and hopefully learn from AD, or learn what not to do about avoiding injuries and things of that sort. But I don't want to throw any more rocks at Anthony Davis, because he might hurt a bone or sprain an ankle. Trying to duck him.
Hot tonight, bro. Wow.
But it's good. Fave signed an Exhibit 10 contract for you guys, James and Andy, because I haven't seen it, about it. I've been pretty much doing other things away from sports last few days and weeks. Any news on Taze Moore, Josh Carlton, or Kyler Edwards?
I have not heard anything on them, but I just heard Justin Gorman. This actually came out a while ago, but he's going to be playing for Israel in 22-23 for I don't know how to pronounce his name, the Hapoel Gilboa Galil, which I'm probably butchering, but it's going to be part of the Israel Basketball Premier League. So his season starts in September, so he's going to be playing for them in 22-23. I have not heard anything on Edwards, Carlton, or Moore.
I need to reach out to Justin Gorham, see if I can get him on camera again. So congratulations for him. But Taze Moore kind of surprised me, because main reason, because of his athleticism.
Yeah.
Okay, you can teach basketball skills. But his athletic ability is just remarkable, especially considering he's had 5 surgeries on his leg, and he's still jumping out the gym looking like a young Willie Gibson flying through the air. So,
oh, Will could Will get up whenever he was young?
Could.
Or you still can. Oh, we need to get some videos.
Past tense.
You got some highlight tapes that we can watch?
See, that's the old man stuff again. Hey, see?
Well, it's not
Nah.
video. We didn't have.
Is it live stream?
Right,
Do we have the Instagram highlights?
No,
where
we
we
had none of that.
YouTube shorts?
No, we don't have that. We don't have that.
I mean, let's see. When I hooped in the playground in the park, we had none of this stuff. So it was word of mouth and where you gonna hoop today? You know, that kind of thing.
I'll say this: my freshman year of college was 1992, so that kind of tells you what kind of footage we had back then.
So yep, and I graduated from UH in '94. So all my basketball skills, word of mouth is, you know, you get from my friends and the guys who were on the court with me. Other than that, there was no cameras, no video footage, none of that stuff. You know, you just had to. I had some skills. I ain't gonna lie. I lock a dude up. You know, I was Tony Allen. I put you in clamps, man. You weren't getting nothing on me. And if you did, you got knocked out, you know, pretty much. So, but it's a long, long time ago now. And too many jump stops on my knees. And, I can tell the weather reports coming based on how my knees feel, man. Because, man. Back in the day, though, I was all right on the court. But, yeah.
Hey, James and I need to build a time machine, go back in time. We need to have a 2-on-2. Or we could have it down. Toss that out there. Will needs to come to Houston.
Will, you want to? Hey, man, we can do pick and roll all day on these junctions, man. I can run point guard and do pick and roll.
Full court.
Not full court.
No, I'm just...
you just lost me then. You know, full court. So yeah. You know, unless you want to have a medic on hand, you know, truly. But this has been fun, man. Having fun talking about this. I forgot one of my guys from last night's show, Rocket Show, said that he might chime in and talk some boxing. I haven't seen him come up in the comments, but that's okay. Another time. Will, are you a boxing fan?
Yeah, I am.
Because I know the youngsters, they're in the UFC, MMA stuff, right? Isn't that right, Andy? You don't like boxing, right?
Yeah, MMA, UFC. I know it's not in the same vein, but there was some big news that happened on, when was it, on Friday? It's not regarding to MMA, but it's kind of similar. I don't know if you want to touch
the Vince McMahon stuff.
Yeah, him. He officially retired from.
He got out while he could. Yeah.
You know, ahead of him.
Translation: they finally got me.
Yeah, let me get it. You know, with a log. You know, so yeah, got out of that. But kudos to wrestling. I'm showing my age again. Because when I was 11, 12 years old, wrestling, it was wrestling. Okay. Yep. It's evolved into sports entertainment now. It's huge. Kudos to Vince McMahon and Jim Ross for making it a TV show, a TV event. So much so that ESPN and The Athletic have people writing about it, writing about WrestleMania as if it's a sport and not entertainment. So salute to them. Because when I was a kid, I don't know if it's the same for you in Ohio, Will, but Saturday night in H-Town, D-Skills, if you're still watching, Houston wrestling on TV, man, it was the thing to be for like a 10 to 12 years old. Me and my friends on Monday at school, man, did you watch Houston wrestling on Saturday or the rebroadcast on Sunday? Oh man, this. But that was wrestling because we knew it was fake.
Yep.
We knew it was fake.
Yep.
But now they embrace it. You know,
the
storyline and stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, I was old school. I was NWA. You had the NWA, you had WWF. Back then, I was the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Oh yeah,
Rock and Roll Express. That was that was it. That was it for sure.
So y'all were just before the Attitude Era, before you had the New World Order and all that. Y'all were.
Oh yeah, I'll go back to the Four Horsemen, man.
Yeah.
Four Horsemen.
Oh yeah,
Diamonds Up Forever. Symbol of excellence. Yeah, you know, Ric Flair, young Ric Flair, and I'm sure I'm age truly, but it's great fun to reminisce and all those great things. We're gonna wrap it up. Will the Browns have practice next Sunday?
They will. Let's see. Wednesday, Thursday. I'm all over the map. I had it up. They're off.
Okay. Here's the name. Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Ah,
See,
yes, sir.
back in the day, man.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
Yep.
Tony, you're showing your age too. So this is great. Thank you very much for this stroll down memory lane for this old man. So next Sunday we're going to do another Folks Talking Sports, and hopefully we'll have details have been finalized for the Terrence Bud Crawford Errol Spence fight that hopefully takes place in Vegas in November. Hopefully that will be finalized. We can discuss that. They're getting close, but it's boxing, so anything can happen in boxing. Anything bad can happen in boxing. There's no telling. But James Mueller, how can folks find you and contact you, sir, and follow you in your fine work?
Yeah, you can
right there.
Follow me on Twitter at JDM2186, and then, as mentioned before, all my work regarding UH sports is at thedailycougar.com.
One more time, James.
Okay, as you can see down below, JDM2186 on Twitter, and then thedailycougar.com.
And Mr. Yanez, the man of the TV commercials production now.
I figured out I'm learning a lot of new stuff when it comes to video editing. It's pretty fun, but people can find me on Twitter at @Ayanez_5. Like the commercial said, like Chris mentioned, be sure to check out Let's Reach Coup starting September 3, 41 days away, the relaunch, immediately following the UH-UTSA football game, and then obviously, of course, Pod Slam and Jamma, wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And if you're interested in the YouTube video version of it, be sure to check it out on Clutch City Control Room, the Clutch City Control Room YouTube account, and Community Impact newspaper as well for Pearland News. That's just a short list.
And our Big Ten guy, Mr. Gibson,
Can I say,
find you? Yes, please. Go ahead.
Before that, can I say one thing? I meant to get this out. Shout out to Dublin, Ohio's Abby Steiner of the United States. She ran second leg on the 4x1 in the World Track Championships last night. U.S. women beat Jamaica for the gold medal.
Yep.
Upset. So local.
Unlike
product.
the men's team.
We won't say that. All right. They got to learn how to pass the baton. But let me stop.
Yeah, don't get it started. Yeah.
Yep. So shout out to Abby. She's Dublin's a suburb of Columbus. Local high school ran track here. Dublin Kaufman ran for the University of Kentucky, and now is a world champion in the 4x1. So wanted to shout her out. Reach me Twitter, Instagram at Will Gibson7, Facebook at Will Knows, and WTGsports.com.
Thank you for that shout out, Mr. Gibson. Very appreciated. See, that's another reason why you're on the show. So to add that insight. I am Chris Gardner of the Houston Round Ball Review. Twitter, VHR Review, HoustonRoundBallReview.com, Houston Round Ball Review on IG, as well as YouTube. You can check our Folks Talking Sports playlist on the Houston Round Ball Review YouTube channel, as well as the Let's Rage Cougs playlist for those shows. The shows will be streaming on the YouTube channel, as well as Twitter. The AdMax Corner for Football Talk will be on there as well. I mentioned this and posted it. I told all three of you guys, my co-hosts, I just pulled it up. Was it Friday night? Did a search and pulled up Folks Talking Sports on iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
On TV, on the Roku. So to see that and the logo.
So does like our video component aspect come out on the platform, or is it just audio only?
Oh no, it's on YouTube as well. But I didn't check. We're on YouTube, iHeart, Spotify, Apple. So we got audio for you. We got video for you as well. We got, a lot of things going on, plans going forward. So just keep tuned, keep following us on our individual Twitter accounts, as well as at Folks Talk Sports. If you're not don't follow us there at Folks Talk Sports, please do so. We're doing big things. Got big plans for this coming season, football-wise and basketball-wise. So, Tony, thank you for tuning in. D-Skills H-Town, thank you as well for your comments and joining us. Until next Sunday, same time. Gentlemen?
Works for me.
All right.
Yes, sir.
See you next Sunday, July 31st. Everybody on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, take care. Peace.